Well, hello. Welcome to the Richard Wade Review Show. Today I'm going to be reviewing a console called the X6 Handheld. It's kind of a weird system because it has no branding on it. I can't tell you who made it. I got it off Amazon for 30 bucks. You can find them when you search for the X6 handheld game, but sometimes what comes up is another console that is also called the X6 with the same font on it, and it looks like a Game Boy. So you can see the back of the box here. Um, Basically, it doesn't tell you anything very helpful. This is running this weird system that's probably, I don't know, I've never seen anything like it, but it's like those old MP3 players from back in the early 2000s. And it doesn't even tell you what type of games it supports. So, we're going to turn it on. I've got some dust on the screen already. I didn't unbox this with you all. Oh, by the way, it came with some earbuds and a TV out thing, which is, this one's actually better than most of them because it has stereo sound. Unfortunately, it doesn't have stereo speakers. It just has one on this side, and this one is a fake grill. Alright, on the top we got the power switch, the TV out, headphone jack, and it uses a mini USB charging port. And there's your compact flash card, which you don't have to take out because it actually will connect to the computer through the USB port. And I know that because I've been doing that to put games on it. When I got it, it didn't really come with many games or anything. So I had to add some of my own ROMs. There were some that were on the home screen, and these games that are on here, you actually can't change those. They're just built into the system, and they're all Game Boy Advance games. Now, if you go to the browser, you'll see that it has different folders here. Has a music folder, pictures, videos, and it does actually do those things. It'll play videos. Like if I open this up, there's some demo video on here. It's like a little Pixar short or something to the game here. Exit the video. And we're going to go back. I don't have very much battery life, so I'm going to hurry and get to it. I didn't charge it up enough before we started. But I found that one interesting thing about this is when you load up a game, you can change the aspect ratio, which is not possible in some handhelds. So, like, for example, if I play like an SNES game, which SNES games do run perfect. The one problem I have with it is the select button is actually the button that exits a game. So, like, if I go in, I can open up, I don't know, like Double Dragon, and you hit restart to start the game. You have to hit it twice. And then it loads up and everything runs just like it should, except since select exits the game, any game that needs select for something, you just can't do it. So that kind of makes it not good for some games. As you can hear, the volume's pretty loud. It's got volume buttons right here on the front. I'm trying to keep this at an angle where you can see it, because as you can see, when you tilt the screen, the viewing angle is not very good. You have to be looking at it straight on. That's the way you hold it, so it's not a big issue. Okay, here I hit select. And it does have save states. As far as I can tell, when you save in a game, it doesn't back up the save. So save states is the only way you're going to be able to save. I've also enjoyed playing Mega Drive games on this. No, not Mega Drive. Excuse me. It doesn't have Mega Drive. That was another console I was thinking about. The one good thing about this is because of the screen shape, 16:9 here. Like, here, I'm going to go back. Okay, when I go to the games, I go to external games. That's the ones that I've loaded on there. And Game Boy Advance is one system that runs great on here. And on that system, select is still the key that exits the game, but the L1 button, which there's only one L. The L button acts as select, and this acts as A and B, of course, and then L1, LR on the Game Boy Advance. So Game Boy Advance games actually run perfect with no issues, no stutters, no lags. And you'll probably have to put your own stuff on here. I don't think it came with any of the Game Boy Advance games except for the ones that are on the home screen. All right, so I'm gonna start up Aria of Sorrow here. Trying to get this in a good position so you can see it and I can see it too. All right, and we'll just put some letters in. We don't care. This is one of my favorite Game Boy Advance games. It's Castlevania Aria of Sorrow. And as you can see, it's running pretty flawlessly. I'd say the biggest downside to this handheld, I mean, I would actually prefer to play Game Boy Advance games on this over any of the handhelds that are below $30 right now. It's that good. I mean, it's perfect format for it. They run with no lag. It has pretty good sound despite only having one speaker. But the battery life on it is not very good. I've gotten maybe about 2 to 2.5 hours of battery life off of it. It is cheap enough that I could possibly open it up. There's a few screws on the back. I haven't done that yet to any of the handhelds I've got. I'm trying to do reviews of the ones I'm getting in first, and then I'm going to go back and maybe do some future videos about how we can improve some of them. But yeah, I think this would be a great handheld for Game Boy Advance, and would be my preferred system to play them on, because this thing it's super lightweight. I mean, it looks like it might be heavy. It kind of has the PSP shape to it, but this thing probably weighs, I don't know, maybe 5 ounces, 4 ounces. It's not that heavy, and fits well in your hand. The buttons I thought were kind of soft at first when I first pressed them, but it turns out they work great, and because they're separated, it's great for games like this, or like RPGs, things like that. I don't think you're gonna want to play any fighting games on this, and it has an analog stick that just kind of rocks back and forth. It's like a disc thing. It is terrible. I would never use that. So I just want to say the analog stick is garbage, and all it does is duplicate the arrow inputs. But overall, I think this could be a good system for Game Boy Advance, definitely, if you can find a way to replace the battery. And, I'm sure that's possible. Like I said, I haven't opened it yet. It'd probably just take a simple solder job, or may even have a connector. I doubt it. They try to save money on these things, make them as cheap as possible. But I guess I'm going to end that review right there, and if you have any questions about it, be sure to ask. And I also want to add one more thing. It only plays Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and Game Boy Advance. I have not had any luck getting anything else to run. It said on the website that it could run Neo Geo games and arcade games, and I believe it's powerful enough to, because it does run Game Boy Advance so well. However, I have had no luck getting them to run, and I can't find any firmware to update anywhere, so I think it's stuck the way it is. I'm going to try to change out that battery and see if that makes it better, but if you're only playing Game Boy Advance games and you play for less than an hour and a half, 2 hours at a time, I would recommend this device. I think it's great. For Game Boy Advance, I'd give it I give it like 8 out of 10, really, just on Game Boy Advance. The other systems, Super Nintendo's fine, except for the select button, so if your game doesn't use the select button, you'll enjoy that. Nintendo's great, Game Boy Color's great, Game Boy's great, and you can choose to run them in either stretch or the original aspect ratio. And I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do that real quick. When we're back to the main menu, takes a second to get back. Alright, you go over to setting, and then you have several options here. You got your display, that changes the brightness and everything. Let's see, advanced, I believe. Where is it? Well, I thought it was there. I did this a couple of days ago, so I have to. Oh, yeah. When you're in the game, which, I wanted to load up something else. I shouldn't have said I was going to end the video. I lied to you a little bit there. Have to forgive me for that one. Just open up a game. And that's how Game Boy games look. And they run good. Game Boy Color, of course, runs great. Kung Fu. I used to love this game. But yeah, if you go to the setting here and do the screen size, you can change it to full screen, which will stretch it. So we'll do that so you can see how that looks. And I'll go back to the game, return to game. See, now it's all stretched. I personally don't like how most games look stretched because they don't look like they should. But, actually for this game, that doesn't look half bad, I guess. So, I guess you just have to experiment and see what you like best. Now, the other option that was there, original size, you don't want that because it's going to actually do it at its original resolution, which is very low. So, I can show you how that looks also. Looks like this. That's the original Game Boy screen resolution. So, I mean, it does look good, I guess. This screen has very high pixel density. Let me get in there very closely. You can actually see the pixels there. So, the screen's impressive. Just the software is garbage. The way they chose to do the menu system is garbage. But again, the limitations caused by that really only affect the Super Nintendo games. Alright, so I'm going to go back to the menu and change that back because I definitely don't want it like that. I'm going to scale it up as big as it can go. And I'm going to go back, load up a Game Boy Color game so you can see what that looks like. I don't know, maybe Pokemon Pinball, I guess. And click Restart to start it. So it's a good system for these types of games. I've never liked this game though. I've always hated it. The way it lags when it goes back to the other screen, it's kind of weird to me. But yeah, it runs that okay. I'm gonna head back again. See the other folders. FC is the original folder it had. It has something like 10,000 games on it, but they're all like shovelware for the most part. So I definitely recommend loading your own, which I loaded up some that I knew would work. And I guess that's about it for the system, It does have a music player if you still listen to MP3s. I don't think anybody does anymore, but somebody might be interested in that, especially if we could get the battery life better, replace that battery with something else. But yeah, I'm going to end this video right there for real this time, and I want to thank you all for watching. I hope to see you next time.